title of this compilation is Wonderful World, which shouldn't be a surprise to any Louis Armstrong fans out there because of all the thousands of songs the man recorded in nearly a 50-year career. What a Wonderful World is the one that he is best known for. That was really not the case in his lifetime, especially here in the United States, but I think it's a song that just continues to speak to listeners, and a lot of people have tried covering it. They just can't quite convey the warmth that Louis Armstrong does. Now, the story of What a Wonderful World, it's the brainchild of the producer Bob Thiele. This is a photograph of Bob Thiele and Louis Armstrong taken at the What a Wonderful World session on August 16th, 1967. Bob Thiele was looking over the landscape of America and seeing assassinations and marches in the streets and the Vietnam War raging on, and he said, we need a message of hope. We need Louis Armstrong to kind of heal the nation. So he hired the songwriter George David Weiss to write What a Wonderful World. Armstrong goes in the studio, and there is a full-blown orchestra waiting for him. This is the entire chart. The arrangement was done by Tommy Goodman, and this is Louis Armstrong's part that he held in his hands, his vocal part for that session. And he didn't have to play trumpet that day, he just had to sing. But we have the full chart, the conductor's score with the string section, the whole thing. And Armstrong, when he read the lyrics, the first thing he thought of was his neighborhood in Queens, especially when he read about, I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. He said that's Corona. He's seen 3 generations grow up on this block, and all of a sudden he connected with the song on a really personal level. Then in 1968, What a Wonderful World was discovered, especially in England, where it became a #1 hit. Here is an ad that ran in the Melody Maker. What a Wonderful World, Louis is back on the charts. And so once again, he knocked the Beatles and Otis Redding and all these incredible acts in 1968. He's got the #1 hit in England, and all of a sudden, What a Wonderful World is a hit overseas. Not so much here, but when he comes back to the United States, he decides to record the rest of the long-playing album, What a Wonderful World, which is right here. This is Louis Armstrong's copy. That little X up there means he had listened to it, he had dubbed it to tape. Armstrong continues singing it at every performance for the rest of his life, but he passes away in 1971, and it's not until it's used in the film Good Morning Vietnam in the late 1980s that all of a sudden What a Wonderful World was finally discovered here in the United States. And by that point, What a Wonderful World was certified gold. And here in the Louis Armstrong Center, we have the plaque from the time in the late 80s when they were giving out gold records, gold CDs, and gold cassettes, all on one plaque. So you think that's pretty good? A guy who's been dead for 15, 16 years, he's got a gold record, and he's back on the pop charts. But wait, there's more. We're sitting here in 2024, 53 years after Louis Armstrong passed away. And earlier this summer, What a Wonderful World was certified 5 times platinum. So the song just does not quit, and I'm sure if I'm here in 50 more years, we're going to be talking about how many more millions it sold. I think as long as people have ears, they're going to be listening to What a Wonderful World, and I think Armstrong would be happy with that, because to him, it was his love letter to Corona, and anytime he sang it, he thought of this place, and to sit here in his museum, in his archive, talking about this song, I hate to say it, but it's a pretty wonderful world.